Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Bhutan's requirements will always be top priority for India, says Prime Minister. Over 50,000 Ayushma and Bharat health and wellness centers set up across the country, reaching over 25 crore people. National corona recovery rate improves to 93.6%. India slams Pakistan for aiding and abetting cross-border terrorism. Chhath festival being celebrated with traditional fervour and gaiety. And in cricket, ICC postpones 2022 Women's T20 World Cup till February 2023. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Bhutanese counterpart Lothe Tshering jointly launched e-RuPay card Phase 2 today. Both the leaders had jointly launched Phase 1 of the project during the state visit of the Prime Minister to Bhutan in August last year. Mr. Modi said India stands with Bhutan in difficult hour of COVID-19 pandemic. He said Bhutan's requirements will always be top priority for India. He said the Phase 2 launch of RuPay card will boost ties between the two countries.
आज के बाद भूटान नेशनल बैंक द्वारा जारी किए गए रुपे कार्ड के कार्ड धारक भारत में 1 लाख से अधिक एटीएम और 20 लाख से अधिक पॉइंट्स ऑफ सेल टर्मिनल की सुविधा उपयोग कर पाएंगे। मुझे विश्वास है कि इससे भूटान के यात्रियों को भारत में शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, तीर्थ यात्रा या फिर पर्यटन में बहुत सहूलियत रहेगी। इससे भूटान में डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन बढ़ाने में भी मदद मिलेगी।
Mr. Modi also expressed happiness that work is progressing rapidly to send Bhutan's satellite to space next year with the help of ISRO.
भूटान ब्रॉडकास्टिंग और डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट के लिए साउथ एशिया सैटेलाइट का और प्रभावी उपयोग कर पा रहा है। कल हमने पीसफुल यूजेज ऑफ आउटर स्पेस में सहयोग बढ़ाने के उद्देश्य से एक फ्रेमवर्क दस्तावेज पर हस्ताक्षर। इससे दोनों देशों की विभिन्न संस्थाओं के बीच सहयोग का मार्ग प्रशस्त होगा। मुझे इस बात की विशेष खुशी है कि अगले साल इसरो द्वारा भूटान की सैटेलाइट को अंतरिक्ष भेजने के लिए काम तेजी से चल रहा है। इसके लिए भूटान के 4 होनहार युवा स्पेस इंजीनियर्स दिसंबर में इसरो जाएंगे।
Mr. Tshering, lauding Prime Minister Modi's leadership in tackling the pandemic, expressed the hope that India will come out much stronger from the pandemic. He said the lead that India is taking in developing vaccines is a source of hope for all.
I would like to take this opportunity to convey our appreciation for your unwavering support that we have extended to Bhutan for the COVID-19 responses. This is highly appreciated as we know that India is confronted with similar tasks but at much bigger scale. Your Excellency's leadership in tackling the pandemic at home is highly commended. I'm sure India will come out much stronger from the pandemic.
The implementation of Phase 1 of RuPay cards in Bhutan has enabled visitors from India to access ATMs and point-of-sale terminals across Bhutan. Phase 2 will now allow Bhutanese card holders to access RuPay network in India.
India slammed Pakistan for aiding and abetting cross-border terrorism. Replying to a media query last evening, the External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said Pakistani forces continue to engage in providing support and cover fire to infiltrators despite repeated calls for restraint and adherence to the ceasefire understanding of 2003 for maintaining peace and tranquility.
Despite repeated calls for restraint and adherence to the ceasefire understanding of 2003 for maintaining peace and tranquility, Pakistani forces continue to engage in providing supporting cover fire to infiltrators. The incessant infiltration of terrorists and induction of weapons to fuel terror activities continues unabated.
The spokesperson pointed out that such activities are not possible without the support of Pakistani forces deployed along the LOC. The spokesperson said India also strongly protested Pakistan's continued support to cross-border terrorist infiltration into India. Replying to a query on Kartarpur Sahib Gurudwara, Mr. Srivastava said it has been decided that a Sikh Jatha from India will visit Janam Asthan Gurudwara Nankana Sahib from 27th of November to 1st of December on the occasion of 551st birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Ji. The spokesperson added that in view of the COVID pandemic, all health-related protocol will be strictly followed and the size of the Jatha is likely to be reduced. The 12th counter-terrorism dialogue between India and the European Union EU was held virtually yesterday. The dialogue was an opportunity to continue close cooperation and coordination on this important element of the India-EU strategic partnership. Both India and the EU resolved to support each other in the fight against terrorism. India and the EU strongly condemn terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including the use of terrorist proxies for cross-border terrorism. India condemned the recent terror attacks in the member states of the European Union and expressed condolences to the families of the victims. The EU reiterated its condemnation of terrorist attacks in India, including 26/11 Mumbai, Pathankot and Pulwama, and reiterated its support for the people and government of India in the fight against terrorism. India and the EU emphasized the need for strengthening international cooperation to combat terrorism in a comprehensive and sustained manner. They reaffirmed that it is crucial that perpetrators of violence and terrorism are brought to justice. The participants of the dialogue reviewed threats posed by UN-sanctioned terrorist entities and emphasized the need for concerted action against all terrorist networks. They also underlined the urgent need for all countries to take immediate, sustained and irreversible action to ensure that no territory under their control is used for terrorist attacks on other countries.
India touched a landmark milestone with operationalization of more than 50,000 Ayushma Bharat health and wellness centers. This has led to improved access to affordable primary healthcare services for more than 25 crore people in the country. The Health and Family Welfare Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, congratulated the states and union territories for their efforts in operationalizing the health and wellness centers despite the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Harshvardhan also thanked frontline health workers, medical officers, community health officers and ASHAs for their dedication to the cause of providing comprehensive primary healthcare services in these difficult times. The Ayushman Bharat scheme was launched in 2018 and aims at providing comprehensive primary healthcare services to the communities closer to their homes. Around 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers are to be established by the year 2022. The COVID-19 recovery rate of the country has further improved to 93.60%. More than 84,28,000 people have recovered so far. In the past 24 hours, 44,807 recoveries have been reported across the country. The active cases currently comprise only 4.93% of the total positive cases, and the total number of active cases in the country is 4,43,794. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry today said a total of 45,882 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country within 24 hours. In one day, 584 deaths have been reported, taking the nationwide toll to 1,32,162. The case fatality rate stood at 1.47% in the country, which is one of the lowest globally. Meanwhile, the Indian Council of Medical Research said various laboratories in the country have conducted 10,83,397 tests of coronavirus samples in the last 24 hours. More than 12 crore 95 lakh tests have been conducted in the country so far.
In Tripura, the recovery rate of COVID-19 infections has further improved to 96.12%, with 30,945 infected people getting cured till date. Also, 105 new cases of coronavirus were detected in the past 24 hours, while 112 patients were discharged yesterday after recovery from the viral infection. Also, a patient died yesterday, taking the death toll to 362. In Mizoram, 28 new cases of coronavirus infections were detected and 4 patients were discharged from hospitals after recovery in the past 24 hours. With this, the total number of COVID-19 cases rose to 3,541. The recovery rate has also improved to 86.1%. Presently, 511 infected persons are undergoing treatment in different COVID care centers and hospitals. Gujarat has reported 1,340 new cases during the last 24 hours. Apart from the weekend curfew from 9 p.m. today in Ahmedabad city, the state government has also decided to postpone the reopening of schools and colleges from 23rd of November. AIR correspondent reports that Ahmedabad city witnessed a spike in daily cases of infections after Diwali. More from our correspondent.
The downtrend in COVID-19 cases in Gujarat remained very short-lived as the new cases started rising after by-elections and Diwali festival. Ahmedabad city and district has recorded 246 cases yesterday, which is maximum in the last 5 months. Surat reported 239 new cases. The total cases of COVID-19 detected so far in Gujarat has reached up to 1,92,982. Out of this, 1,76,475 persons recovered. 1,113 persons recovered during the last 24 hours. More than 70,33,000 tests have been carried out in the state till date. At present, total active cases in the state are 12,677, out of which 87 patients are on ventilator. 7 patients died yesterday, taking the total death due to COVID-19 up to 3,830. Yogesh Pandya, AR News, Ahmedabad.
All schools in Mumbai under the control of Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation will remain closed till 31st of December. The decision in this regard was taken in view of the rising cases of COVID-19. However, in other parts of Maharashtra, preparations are afoot to reopen the schools from 23rd November. In Rajasthan, 2,549 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. It is the highest number of infections reported in a single day so far. Earlier, 2,211 patients were reported on September 28th. With the death of 1 person each in 15 districts of the state, the death toll has reached 2,116. After the increase in corona cases, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot is interacting with representatives of private hospitals through video conference today. More from our correspondent.
In the last 5 days, more than 2,500 new patients of corona have reported in capital Jaipur. The number of active patients has reached close to 7,000. There is now a shortage of ICU beds in government and private hospitals. In view of the situation, the Chief Minister has urged private hospitals to increase the number of beds for COVID patients. The situation of COVID infection in the Jodhpur is also bad. After reports of not getting proper treatment to the COVID patients there, the State Human Rights Commission has constituted a high-level committee under the chairmanship of Divisional Commissioner. The commission has asked the committee to inspect all private and government hospitals and submit a factual report. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
In the Union Territory of Puducherry, 54 new cases of COVID-19 infection were reported today. More from our correspondent.
According to the statistics given by the Health Department today, 43 new cases were reported from Puducherry region, 2 new cases from Karaikal and 9 new cases were reported from Mahe region. 101 cases were discharged from the hospitals. No death has been reported from all the 4 regions of Puducherry. At present, 248 cases are being treated in the hospitals and another 373 cases are under home isolation with a total of 621 active cases here. Now the recovery rate stands at 96.64%. And the fatality rate stands at 1.66%. Chandramohan, AR News, Puducherry.
In Andhra Pradesh, 1,316 new COVID-19 positive cases have been recorded. 75,165 samples were tested in the state during the same period. Meanwhile, 1,821 persons have recovered in the state. A total of 8,58,711 COVID-positive cases have been recorded in Andhra Pradesh and 8,35,801 persons have recovered so far. 16,000 persons are under COVID treatment and number of total COVID deaths stands at 6,910. Telangana state reported 894 fresh COVID cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases reported in the state has gone up to 2,61,728. The state conducted over 39,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate slightly improved to 94.67%, with 1,057 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 2,47,790. Meanwhile, the daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department this morning stated that total deaths reported is at 1,423, following 4 more people succumbed to COVID and comorbidities during the past 24 hours. Currently, the state has over 12,000 active cases, out of which over 10,000 are in home isolation. The winter session of Odisha Vidhan Sabha began today. This is the second such session to be held with strict adherence to COVID-19 guidelines. The session will have a total of 40 sittings, including on weekends. A report.
At the start, the House made obituary references to its former Speaker, Saratkar, and other departed members in COVID worry. Soon after, the Speaker, Dr. Surya Narayan Patra, adjourned the House till 3 p.m. as a mark of respect to the departed souls. The government is likely to present a supplementary budget for the financial year 2020-21 when the House reassembles in the afternoon today. From tomorrow onwards, the House will sit for a duration of 4.5 hours daily. A number of bills, including 3 ordinances, are also lined up to be tabled during the session. Meanwhile, in order to make the session COVID-safe, while all the members and support staff have been duly screened for the virus, the Assembly Hall and the premises are being sanitized at regular intervals. Besides, while the members are sitting in accordance with the norms of social distancing, each seat, including that of the Speaker, is treated with transparent protective seals to snap the transmission chain of the virus. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight, will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Raman R. Gangakhedkar, former head scientist in the Epidemiology and Communicable Diseases Division of ICMR, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115-767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by #AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. The program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Bhutan's requirements will always be top priority for India, says Prime Minister. Over 50,000 Ayushma Bharat health and wellness centers set up across the country, reaching over 25 crore people. National corona recovery rate improves to 93.6%. India slams Pakistan for aiding and abetting cross-border terrorism. Chhath festival being celebrated with traditional fervour and gaiety. And in cricket, ICC postpones 2022 Women's T20 World Cup till February 2023. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे. Chhath Puja is being celebrated in different parts of the country with traditional fervour and religious devotion today. On the third day of Chhath Puja, devotees will make offerings known as Sandhya Arghya to the setting sun this evening. The 4-day celebrations will culminate tomorrow morning with Prataha Arghya to the rising sun. The Chhath festival is dedicated to the worship of the sun god and his wife Usha. During celebrations, people thank the sun, the god of energy and life force, for sustaining the life on earth. In Bihar, the ambience has become devotional across the state. Traditional, folk, devotional and spiritual songs are making the occasion special and auspicious. More from our correspondent.
Preparations are in place for the Sant Arg across the state. NDRF, SDRF personnel and divers have been deployed on the banks of rivers. Flying of boats for commuters have been prohibited across the state. Flocks of devotees singing chorus and Chhat Geet in Bhojpuri, Maghi, Maithili, Angika and other dialects are on their way to Chhat Ghats to offer their prayer to the sun god. All the folk and traditional songs are dedicated to sun god due to its prime place as source of life on the earth. The devotees will seek blessings for well-being of their family and loved ones from God. Argya will be offered at archaic sun temples of Aurangabad, Nawada, Nalanda, Patna, Bhojpur and other parts of the state. COVID-19 protocols are being observed in the state to check the spread of coronavirus on the places of mass gathering. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
President Ramnath Kovind has greeted the people on the occasion of Chhath. In his message, the President asked people to resolve to preserve nature and environment and celebrate the festival keeping in mind the spread of COVID-19 epidemic. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has greeted people on the occasion. In a tweet, he prayed that the sun god with his energy will illuminate the life of the countrymen with health and prosperity. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has also greeted the people on the occasion of Chhath Puja. In Madhya Pradesh, the state government has fixed minimum support price for 32 minor forest produce. These include 18 small forest species such as Giloy, Kalmeg, Gudmar and Jamun seeds for the first time. Forest Minister Kunwar Vijay Shah said that the minimum price of 14 minor forest produce was increased in April this year. With the fixation of the collection value of minor forest produce, forest dwellers will not have to depend on middlemen for these. This will also improve their economic condition.
Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwath Narayan launched the first state bioeconomy report during the ongoing Bengaluru Tech Summit today. According to the report, Karnataka's bioeconomy has grown by 14 to 17% in the previous 2 years, contributing 10.3% to the gross state domestic product GSDP. This contributed 2.3% of India's 2.8 trillion GDP in the previous year. The report also says that Karnataka contributes more than one-third to the national bioeconomy. Releasing the report, Dr. Ashwath Narayan said that the government has set a target to raise Karnataka's bioeconomy share to 50% of the national bioeconomy revenue target by 2025. Today is the World Children's Day. The day offers each of us an inspirational entry point to advocate, promote and celebrate children's rights, translating into dialogues and actions that will build a better world for children. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, representative in UNICEF India, Dr. Yasmin Ali Haq said, this year World Children's Day is focusing on climate change.
This year, we're really focusing a lot on climate change because that is a key theme that young people across the world are talking about. They're talking about the risks, the action, and they are advocating with governments across the world to take action that is needed. So we have been working very closely with the Parliamentarians Group for Children. We are organizing a climate parliament with children on the 20th under the leadership of the Honorable Vice President, Shri Venkaiah Naidu. We're also expecting our Honorable Minister, Shriti Irani, to be present, and also 30 members of Parliament.
In Assam, on the occasion of World Children's Day today, Vandana Orang, a student of Namrup College, has taken over Twitter handle of the Chief Minister's office. Ms. Orang has made a series of tweets on post-pandemic education scenario. She said that a good environment and innovative teaching methods, along with awareness on things like the ill effects of use of addictive substances, would encourage children to continue and complete their education. She said that the Muskan Adolescent Girls Group have been an important part of her journey so far. The group members regularly discuss topics from gender equality, importance of menstrual hygiene to opportunities which concern future employment.
The International Monetary Fund has said that the global economy is recovering from the depths of the coronavirus crisis, but there are signs of slowing momentum in countries with resurging infection rates. The report, released ahead of this week's virtual meetings of the finance officials and leaders from the group of 20 countries, underscored the uneven nature of the global recovery and warned the crisis would likely leave deep, unequal scars. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva urged the G20 countries to act swiftly in a united manner to ensure that enough vaccines are available around the world. She warned that no recovery could be sustained unless the pandemic would be defeated everywhere. The defense cooperation and partnership between India and Bangladesh has made significant gains in the last few years. Addressing a virtual session on collaboration in defense and commercial shipbuilding, hosted by the High Commission of India in Dhaka and the FICCI yesterday, Secretary Defense Production Raj Kumar said that the close proximity between Indian shipyards to Bangladesh is an additional advantage for both the countries. It may result in long-term strategic partnership in production, development and maintenance. He said that the strategic partnership between the two countries can become a pillar of regional strength and economic cooperation.
In tennis, Spain's Rafael Nadal beat defending champions Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-4, 4-6, 6-2 to qualify for the semi-finals of ATP Finals in London. The last round-robin match in London group has become a straight knockout, with both the players having close to Dominic Thiem and beaten Andrei Rublev earlier. Nadal will now face Daniil Medvedev in semi-finals, with Russian already assured of top spot in the Tokyo group, while number one Novak Djokovic will play Alexander Zverev later today, with the winner to play Thiem in the other semi-final. International Cricket Council has postponed South African edition of Women's T20 World Cup by 3 months to February 2023 to avoid a cluster of big-ticket events in 2022. In a statement, ICC said the tournament, which was scheduled in November 2022, will now be held from February 9 to 26, 2023. It said if not postponed, the year 2022 will have 3 major events including Commonwealth Games and 50 over Women's World Cup. In August this year, the ICC had postponed the 50 over Women's World Cup slated in New Zealand from 2021 to 2022 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and Women's T20 cricket is also set to make its debut in 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games. ICC said that the decision was taken keeping in mind the workload of the players and also considering long-term interest of women's cricket.
In Andaman and Nicobar Islands, remaining water sports activities like scuba diving, sea walk, parasailing, jet ski and sea kart have been started with strict adherence to Corona SOPs. The Directorate of Tourism has formed detailed SOPs for the reopening of these activities in consultation with the National Institute of Water Sports, Goa. Guests and operators have to verify their status in the Arogya Setu app. Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. National capital will have mainly clear sky today. The minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 23 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, sky will be partly cloudy. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover between 24 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is also expected to have partly cloudy sky with the temperature varying between 22 and 32 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Srinagar, generally cloudy sky is expected. The minimum temperature was 1 degree Celsius, while the maximum will be around 13 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 25 degrees. The city will witness mainly clear sky. In Leh, the sky will be generally cloudy. The minimum temperature was -6 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 3 degrees. Gilgit will experience generally cloudy sky today and the temperature will hover between 0 and 14 degrees Celsius. Partly cloudy sky is expected in Muzaffarabad. The temperature will hover between 4 and 13 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 9 and 26 degrees Celsius. The city will have mainly clear sky. And now, before we end this bulletin, the headlines once again. Bhutan's requirements will always be top priority for India, says Prime Minister. Over 50,000 Ayushma Bharat health and wellness centers set up across the country, reaching over 25 crore people. National corona recovery rate improves to 93.6%. India slams Pakistan for aiding and abetting cross-border terrorism. Chhath festival being celebrated with traditional fervour and gaiety. And in cricket, ICC postpones 2022 Women's T20 World Cup till February 2023. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com. And with that, we end the Midday News.